All right, guys, big day, big night for your boys. Wonder when people are going to start tailgating at home, Cakes. When are they going to start pouring their first drinks?
I think tailgating for a Monday night or like pre-gaming for a Monday night football game.
4 or 5 p.m.? Even at home?
4 or 4:30.
Guys going to be out on their backyard, like grill?
Sure, why
get
not?
Their TVs, roll them out for
Sounds
the deck.
like a great plan.
Start cooking some chicken, some steak.
Mm-hmm. Burgers.
8:15, ESPN. Bengals are favored by, I believe, 7.5 on FanDuel.
Yep.
46.5 is your total.
46.5 is the total. Against the spread, the Commanders are 1-1. The Bengals are 1-1. Of course, the Bengals are 0-2. Off to an unfortunate start. The first one's the weird one. That's the one they lost to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had that. It was like a shootout with the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Like, I mean, that
26-25, I think was the final.
Could have gone either way. So they looked a lot better in week 2.
Well, remember in that game, the Chiefs had 4th and 16, and Mahomes bounced out of the pocket, threw it down the field, and there was a pass interference call. So it set up the game-winning field goal.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a pass interference.
I mean,
if I remember it correctly. He did hit him a little early.
Yeah.
So you got to call it.
I agree.
When you kind of look at where it's only 2 weeks, so you don't make too much of it. But just looking at the rankings, the Commanders overall, their offense, the somewhat criticized Cliff Kingsbury offense, 10th overall, I guess in terms of yardage, rushing they're 6th, passing 19th. There's an interesting stat that I saw that 37.9% of Washington's wide receiver targets have come from behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Do you know
a lot
what
of
the league
sideways
average
passes.
is?
I think it's like 10%.
Yeah, it's like
11%.
Yeah.
11%. So I think a big part of that is they're just trying to slowly acclimate Jaden. I don't think this is a staple of Kingsbury's offense per se, but we need to see Jaden start to look downfield a little bit more, and Kingsbury needs to open it up a little bit more. Hopefully
you started to see
will.
that in the second half of the last game.
I agree.
You know, he had a couple of downfield passes to Noah Brown, also to Zach Ertz. So you're going to need more of that. The troubling thing for me in this game when you bring up rankings, and I don't even know the exact rankings, is going to be Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins against the Commanders' secondary and the Commanders' lack of a pass rush. It's a deadly combination.
Well, the difference is I disagree with you. We'll just have a fundamental disagreement. Most people, other than you, thought we had a good pass rush in week 1. It came from the interior part. Week 2, I agree. They didn't really have a great pressure. And they've really haven't gotten anything from their ends. So if you're looking at from their ends,
and they're out of
this would be a great time for Dorrance Armstrong to step up and make a statement and show why they actually gave him some decent money to come here from Dallas.
Has he been on the field? Because I haven't noticed.
He's played in both of the first 2 games, but he hasn't made that much of an impact.
They haven't called his name once.
Yeah. They're also taking a hit because, you know, as pedestrian as Cleveland Farrell is, he's a former very, very high draft pick. He has made a few plays. He's going to be out for this game.
Yep.
So that should mean, even though Johnny Newton is still on a pitch count and not expected to play a full game, I think with Farrell being out, Jamin Davis should be up again. And listen, you can say what you want about Jamin. He does have that get-off, and he does have that potential to bring some pressure from the outside, which we haven't really seen in 2 weeks. Forbes is still nursing the thumb injury. I listened to John Keim in his pod, and he said they don't expect him to play this week. They expect him next week. You may think, oh, that's no big loss, but we don't have anybody other really than St. Juice that's distinguishing himself.
This is a good one for him to sit out because he would be abused by either Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. So it's probably better for him to just,
I guess,
nurse the thumb injury, get back against Arizona in week 4.
I think by the numbers, though, Sandstrell's given up the most touchdowns and St. Just is second.
Yeah. But I think, John mentioned that the staff is happy with St. Just. He's the only one kind of doing what they're asking.
Yeah.
He's the one guy that is somewhat performing.
The truth is he was in position on at least one of those touchdowns to Mike Evans.
A couple of them, yeah. I like St. Just. I think his skill set is decent.
I got to think Zach Taylor and whoever the OC is are going to look at the secondary for Washington and say, all right, we've got one of the best 3 or 4 receivers in the league. We've got to target him 13 to 15 times.
Plus, they get Higgins back coming
Right.
off the hamstring injury, and Mike Gesicki's been productive at tight end. So Joe Burrow
because they haven't been great at running the ball.
Right. He's got a lot of options to throw to, and look, what better secondary to exploit than the Commanders secondary?
I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
I wish I knew. I also was telling Drab, I think, before the show, as I was driving in, I often listen to like YouTube videos, and there's a guy, I don't know who does it. It just says tape analysis.
Mhm.
That's the profile.
Right.
And whoever's doing it sounds like an ex-quarterback or something because he knows the offense very, very well. He was really high on what Jaden is doing so far.
Mhm.
Even on some incompletions, he's throwing guys open. Like there was a play in particular. You remember when Ertz went over the middle and then he threw it to him before he even turned his head, and Ertz was interfered with, so he drew a flag. But the analyst was like, "That's perfect. He's anticipating." Remember how Robert would wait until guys get open,
Sure.
and then he would pull the trigger. Jaden it's been a point of emphasis, get rid of the ball quickly. I think that's part of the reason why they're throwing it 38% of the time behind the line of scrimmage, which is maddening. But Jaden seems to be going through his progressions and getting rid of the ball quickly, throwing guys open. So that's good. He still doesn't have a touchdown pass, which ain't great.
Right.
But I think that's going to happen.
Bo Nix
So-
still doesn't have one.
Now, it may not
I think
happen.
anybody other than freaking the rookies. I only think Caleb has it.
Caleb.
If it happens tonight, that would be a little surprising because the Bengals are allowing 128 passing yards per game so far.
You're going to try and pound the
They
football
are
against them.
stoning people through the air at this point. So
Yeah. The Bengals offensively overall, just in terms of yardage, they rank 24th. Rushing wise, 30th. So they really have had a hard time getting that running game going. Burrow was a little off in week 1, week 2. They're trending in a better direction. They're 16th, middle of the pack. Scoring, bottom third. Defensively, that's where they stand out, as Cakes mentioned. Against the pass, tied for second.
But again,
in the league.
Here's the bright spot for the Commanders. If you look at the Bengals injury report, Chris Jenkins is questionable. Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle, out. And B.J. Hill, another big defensive tackle, is doubtful. But if you're listed as doubtful, you're not playing. So I would imagine that the Commanders are going to be run heavy again, especially against a secondary that's tough to move the ball on.
I just wonder if the defense can improve. I just don't know
Here's
what
how
you
they
do.
can improve. Here's how they can improve. Control the football. The one thing you can draw on from last week's game with the Giants was you keep your defense off the field. They dominated time of possession early. Remember the first quarter? We had the ball on one drive for like 9 minutes.
Yep.
Right? So I honestly think that's kind of the answer.
I'm just looking
they
at
have to just dominate the time of possession and just limit their time with the football.
I think that's fair, and I think defensively, maybe you just got to throw the kitchen sink at Joe Burrow and just blitz like crazy.
I think you have to take a few
and
chances.
roll the dice.
But eventually, that's going to come back to haunt you
Right.
because
They
they're
will
going
burn you.
to
They will burn
recognize
you.
that.
Although-
Chase will be open and he'll go for a deep.
It's working for the Vikings and Brian Flores. They're blitzing like crazy, and it's affected. I think against the Niners, didn't Brock Purdy say I didn't even like? He
Yeah, they
was very
blitzed a bunch.
complimentary of the Vikings defense, and then yesterday, of course, against C.J. Stroud. But what I just worry about is this is a very simple analysis, but if Baker Mayfield throws 4 touchdown passes, and then Daniel Jones comes in and throws 2 touchdown passes, I don't think either threw a pick. Why wouldn't Joe Burrow have a big game? He should, on paper, have a big game against his Commanders' defense.
Common sense says that's going to
He
happen.
should feast on this defense.
Common sense says that's going to happen, but just look at how unpredictable the league was. This week.
Well, the thing that doesn't work in my mind in the favor of the Commanders is, to me, the league has a way of kind of evening itself out, right? So nobody thinks Tampa is some juggernaut. So they lose kind of an unexpected game at home. They're 2-1. 2-1 is a good start for Tampa Bay. And here, nobody expects Cincinnati to be 0-3.
No, I don't.
That's true. Listen, they're
But
overwhelming
maybe
favorites, and they should be.
But if Washington controls the clock,
Mhm.
like you're saying, and Daniels plays mistake free and doesn't turn the ball over, who knows?
Let me ask you something. What about did they? So remember, in week 1, Frankie Louvu really was kind of invisible for me. I was kind of down on him, and then week 1, week 2, I did see him flying all over the field more, making some plays. he clearly has the most juice in his legs, I think, of that linebacking core.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Wagner is just like, I mean, even DQ, I think, said like Wagner is like his deal is like 3 yards in it. It's like, right in
He's
that
a close quarters guy.
He's a close quarters guy, and they love what he's doing, and they know that's what he does, but he's not going to cover the whole field. What about blitzing Luvu? Like when he was at Carolina, did they blitz him a lot?
I'd have to look up his stats there.
He seems to have some juice. And, delayed blitzes, just something to throw Burrow off maybe a little bit.
Juice.
I don't know. I'm grasping. Drabby, you want to give your
Oh yeah. What about the
I want to hear your celebrity interaction.
Yeah. This is my stars, they're just like us moment.
Very good. Yes.
Oh, sorry. So somebody was doing something very normal, getting gasoline.
By the way, before that, Luvu had 7 and 5.5 sacks the last 2 years in Carolina.
So he does
here.
pressure a little bit.
He's got it in his profile.
Valdez is smiling because he's going to joke on me. But all right, Saturday.
As you already know the story.
Yeah, I was telling him earlier.
Yeah.
Saturday, I was with my girls. We're running errands, and we make a stop off at 7-Eleven right outside my house.
Love it.
Gonna get them
big gulp, super big gulp.
I was gonna get them some juice and a snack, right?
Okay.
And what are you getting for Daddy?
Yeah.
What was Daddy
You're not going to 7-Eleven.
I mean, the big gulps are 99 cents. I don't know what. It's impossible to go in there and not get one.
It's one of the greatest bargains in the country.
So note to Cork, he's getting big gulps. Yeah, go ahead.
Diet Pepsi.
Yeah,
right?
you're good. It's fine.
All right, I walk in.
That's his trainer, Cork.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. Cork can zip it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants 32 ounces of Diet Pepsi goodness.
Put a cork in it.
Yeah.
I immediately recognize someone who has his back to me and his hood up on his sweatshirt.
Okay.
because he doesn't want to be recognized.
He doesn't want to be recognized.
But you immediately, how did you recognize him?
Because I know his build, and and
you immediately knew who he was. It was some jack dude.
There's just not a lot of cool-looking guys in 7-Eleven hanging out, and like
Why was he
Besides
cool
you,
looking
of
from
course.
like
behind?
trendy clothes. I could tell.
Yeah.
And I've seen him there before. It was Terry McLaurin. All right.
Oh,
very
that's
nice.
the guy.
What was he getting? What was he buying?
All right. Make of this what you will, Cakes.
Okay, yes.
He was getting a blue rasilly Slurpee.
Delicious.
Silly.
So good.
Big
Silly.
Slurpee.
They're so
One
good.
of us.
Big one,
Silly. He
right?
want a little
of us.
sugar. He need a
One
little
of
sugar.
us.
All right.
Yeah.
But he had his back to me.
Pass
So
the sugar.
All right.
he didn't recognize, but I immediately kind of walked by. I knew it was him.
Yeah.
I walk in, I get the big gulp right next to him, and I kind of make a lap and then get the stuff for my
You go
girl.
up to him now because you know he's the world's nicest guy.
I know he's the world's nicest guy, and I've seen him there before, and I had a really cool run-in with him where I was very smooth, and I said, "Hey, what's up, Terry?" And he was very kind and walked by me. I panicked.
Oh,
I
you
choked.
pulled
I
cakes.
literally choked to death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drab.
Well, you don't have to have an interaction with the guy. Let
I
the
know,
guy
but
live.
I felt like I had to.
Let the guy live.
Why?
I know, let him live. I should have just
you
let
could
him
have
live.
scurried away.
Yeah, let the guy
I'm
live.
standing behind him, and it's just me and Terry and some guy who's taking 7 years to check out.
Oh,
I
the
felt
worst.
like I had to say something.
Yeah.
So I pretend to go look at the cookies at the register.
Oh, my God.
So I could walk back by him again.
Yeah. A fake pass.
It's like a high school chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I walk back by him, and I say, "Hey, what's up, Terry? Good luck tomorrow."
On Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
That's all
Okay.
right. No big deal.
No.
Did he correct you?
He said, "Hey, thanks, man." And then I stand behind him, and like a foot behind him,
Yeah.
and it's just me and Terry for what seems like an hour.
You could smell his deodorant.
What is this guy buying in front
I
of
don't
you?
know. It's like taking an elevator ride.
So
with
were
the
you
world-
tortured because you didn't know if you should continue the interaction or you were waiting for him to feign interest in you? He doesn't give a crap about you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It was like being in an elevator with the world's hottest chick to the top of the Sears Tower. And you literally are choking and you don't know what to say.
Yeah, you're just paralyzed.
I was paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to come across as a fanboy.
Also,
Yeah,
Terry,
yeah.
You already
Terry
have.
thinks
That's too bad. You already have.
Terry thinks he doesn't know ball too
Yeah, you
because he
gotta-
said
well,
good luck
that's-
tomorrow.
I didn't even realize my mistake at the time.
Yeah.
He thinks you're a loser.
It's just a loser. So Terry moves ahead. He finally checks out. I literally don't say one word. I'm choked, like saliva in my mouth. I'm not because I'm nervous, because I'm choking because I realize I should be able to say something and have
Should
a
be a
normal
human,
conversation,
yeah.
and I can't.
Yeah.
And
You're starstruck.
I was starstruck.
Yeah.
Normally I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Riz.
Yeah.
Zero riz. I'm
The
choking.
anti-Riz
He turns around after he checks out. I can't even believe he remembered me saying hi to him.
Yeah.
Turned around and said, "Hey man, really nice meeting you. Have a great day."
What a great kid.
Wow.
He's a
What a
nice-
good
He's
dude.
the nicest guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's a nice dude.
He's the nicest guy.
He's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, man.
He didn't want to be recognized, didn't care.
Yeah.
But super nice guy.
Yeah, wow.
Every time.
And I've heard, dude, somebody tell all of us, right, that they had an interaction with, I think we were all together. I can't remember who it was. And Terry just came up and talked to his kid. Oh, I think that.
Oh, no, it was Farley.
It was Farley.
Farley,
yeah.
Farley went to training camp.
Yeah.
And his kid set down his football that he had brought to get signed by a bunch of the players, and some jerk stole the football.
Somebody stole the football.
Ruined the kid's day.
Oh, that's right.
Saw
That's right.
Farley's kid is bawling his eyes out, as he should. He's like I don't know how old he was.
5 or 6.
5 or 6, young
I'd
kid.
cry.
A Redskins staffer, or I'm sorry, Commander staffer sees what's going on. Like, what's the issue? Farley explains it to him. He says, "Hold on, come back here. We'll make you whole. We'll take care of you." Terry takes 2 or 3 minutes, talks to the kid, signs the ball, makes it out to him.
Takes a picture with him.
Yeah, it's like just goes way above and beyond and being a nice guy.
And I'm sure not if we open the lines, we get 100 people
I'm sure.
say the same thing.
Totally.
He's literally the world's nicest
Yeah.
guy.
What would you have said to Terry if you were
Me,
behind him?
I'm not that way.
He wouldn't have said
I would have
anything.
said Jack Ola. I would have just let
Do you guys mind your business? You don't even say hi. Like no comment.
Unless
Bob-
I've had let's have a personal relationship with the guy.
Yeah.
The big
I-
fantasy day from you.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
I
They
think
hate
because-
that
I
stuff.
wouldn't
They hate
mention
that
that.
stuff. Yeah.
It's-
I think he did fine with.
No, I think it's
other
fine.
than you said
Terry.
Sunday.
More
I know
targets,
this.
deeper targets.
When
I need
people
small
say,
talk.
when people say, and we're on obviously we're like a Z level, right, compared to like our skin. But when people say hi to us, and they're always like, "Oh, I'm sorry to bother you," it really isn't a bother. I love it because it means people
Sure.
are listening.
Sure.
So I actually love it when people come up and say hello. And so it's a different level with the commander, football player. I just don't like to bother him.
I think you throw him big fan or best. I think he
would
did
have
okay.
said. I probably would have said sup.
Yeah,
What's up?
sometimes I might say big fan.
What's up, Terry? Big fan.
Big fan because whatever.